Hello everybody, I am SSD Showstopper and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining, for stopping by, for subscribing. Thanks again. Now today I want to touch on two topics, and one is the DNA and the paternity test fraud that everybody is speaking about in Jamaica, where someone did some sort of research and they say that 62% of women in Jamaica, their child is given to the wrong person or the wrong man, claiming that it's the father. And they're saying that, you lie with a Jamaican woman, most likely that she's going to cheat on you, the child is not going to be yours and stuff like that. Now, when I look into it, I was wondering, how was the test done? How was that research done? Because we're living on an island of what they say is some 3 million people. And out of the 3 million, we have to do a statistic to check how many are females versus how many are adults. So let's say on an average, the amount of women who are actually adults in Jamaica are some 300,000. So out of the 300,000, how many of them are actually mothers? That's another one that we have to look into. So let's say out of the 300,000, for those who are actually mothers, we're talking about 18 years old, which is the age of adulthood in Jamaica, straight up until 80. You understand? So let's say we're going by the number of 18 years old. How many of them are actually mothers? Now, let's say out of the 300,000, we have, I'm going to say 180,000 who are actually, or even 250,000 then, who are actually mothers. How many of them have done a DNA test? How many persons have ordered a DNA test being done on the child by these women? You understand? Now, if you're going to compare that, he said in Nigeria, he quoted Nigeria, he quoted another country, two other countries, I think, with Jamaica. I did not quote United States, and I find it very strange because there were so many talk shows that used to play in Jamaica on our local channel, and we saw wherein there was a Marley with the DNA paternity testing, and so many women have come on the show, and the children were not for those men, and these are American nationals. Not only that, you're going to compare Jamaica of 3 million with a country of over 300 to 400 million people. It simply would not make any sense. And even if we're going by statistics of how many are adults in the United States between the ages of 18, I think it's the same in America in some states, 18 to let's say 80 years old, we're going to say, let's say 100 million or 80 million are adult women and stuff. How many of them have done DNA testing? You're comparing some 280,000 to an 80 million brack. In what world of which planet would that statistic begin, or that comparison begin to make sense for you to say that it is 62% of women in Jamaica, the child is given to the wrong father? So clearly that research would never make sense anywhere on the planet. You understand? Even if you're comparing it to Nigeria, which have over 100 million people, it would be the same. It simply doesn't make any sense because the populace is way too large to be compared to an island which is this small. So not only that, everybody is pushing and everybody is yada 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 and saying that, and I realize that a lot of these men who are speaking out and are calling out these women are men who want an excuse to not be fathers in their children's life, because what we're seeing is that Jamaica, it's a national pastime for men to be labeled as deadbeats, because women were having these children and the men were not taking care of it, and they were saying that the children wasn't there, or they don't have the time or the money, or not guan, as they say in Jamaica, or as we say in Jamaica, not guan, which means that they're not working, they're not making any money to take care of the child. But for the woman, something must be going on. She must be making money. She must be able to have the patience, to have the finance, to have the tolerance, to take care of the child, to feed the child, provide nutrition, health, everything coming to play, to send them to school. The woman must have it at all time. But with the guy, you can easily say, not now go on, and it's an excuse, and then that's it. You understand? And so with that, everybody's running with it. They're moving on that leg because it creates an avenue wherein they believe it can be a good or valid reason for them to not take care of their children. So I know that it's a reason where a lot of these guys are happy. For some reason, they're happy, and I don't know why somebody would be happy that DNA test is being done and the child does not belong to the man. It creates misery in people's life. I mean, why would a guy be happy that a child is not his? We have seen it, and the reason it means that they don't want to take care of the child, and it's okay. If it's not yours, nobody's forcing you. Some people are also saying that they should have these women locked up, incarcerated, they need to be arrested because it's paternity fraud, and all the money that is spent on the child, the man should get it back. No, look, there's PATH program in Jamaica, which some would call welfare or something like Section 8 in the United States. There's a PATH program that is for people from poor socioeconomic background, and it provide them with, I don't know what they get. They get book vouchers or money to purchase textbooks that the child may need, uniform, food, and all these type of things. It's taxpayers' money that pays for PATH program. So, and a lot of these guys also were not in the children's life, who have sink the mothers further into poverty. The taxpayers are paying for it. So should taxpayers now say, take me off, I'm not paying for PATH program, I'm not paying for education tax because I do not have a child that's in school or any form of learning institution? Should we say the same thing? So you are saying that you want your money back because you use it to take care of a child that wasn't yours. So should we say we want our money back from the education tax that we have been paying and we do not have a child that's in school? You see what I'm trying to say? It doesn't work like that. Each one help one. And I understand how one may feel knowing that the child is not his, but it's no excuse. It's no excuse. That statistics or that research that was done, it's not an excuse for you to be a deadbeat, because the only way you can prove a child is not yours, it's through a paternity test. If a paternity test has never been done, you can't simply say, I don't think the child is mine, so I'm not going to take care of it, which is what men have been doing, and it has been a national pastime for decades. There are so many women out there who do not know their father. There are so many men out there who do not know their father for decades ago, and they pass the tradition down, or what they would call generation curse. They pass it down from generation to generation. They have their grandchildren. It's the same thing. They abscond their responsibility, and they simply make an excuse that the child is not theirs and the woman and other men, and so they're not going to take care of it. That's not how it's done. The only way you can know for certain is through DNA testing. Now, I brought up the issue that what about maternity testing? Because DNA tests prove that the child does not belong to the father or belongs to that particular man. Now, how many paternity tests have been done to prove that the child is actually for the mother? Surprisingly, a lot of men had agree with me that women also should take DNA tests to find out if that child is actually hers, because we have heard of baby switching, we have heard of mistakes, errors being made, and decades later, we found out that the mother is not actually the mother of the child. These things do happen. So the same way they're pushing for DNA tests or paternity tests, they should push for maternity tests. But like I said, I was surprised that a lot of guys actually agree with me on that topic, that women should also get DNA tests done. And you know, it's so funny. I was going to break down and get into the nitty-gritty of it to say that a lot of these situations, it tends to happen wherein men do not take care of child that when you found out it's actually theirs. However, the child that they believe is theirs turn out to not be. Those are actually the children that they love and they care about. And it's so strange. That's another topic for another day. Okay, speaking of such, I saw 119, everybody know TikTok as, you know, social media character 119 from the old saga with Miss Kitty and the two plate. He came out and he lashed out and he was saying that Seanpaul is one of the persons whose child is not his because the child is white and stuff like that. And I thought that it was very disrespectful because Seanpaul is clearly not 100% white, but if you look at him, he has immediate white family members. And if you look at his wife, Jodie Jinx, she has immediate white family members just the same. So clearly a child will come out and will actually look white. But let's say all things are equal and that child is actually not Seanpaul child. He did not put that out to the public. And he's one of the most unproblematic dancehall artists out there. So why would you pick on someone who is unproblematic to say something like that about? This man is well respected. He conducts himself with a great deal of dignity and he moves accordingly. He's not problematic. He doesn't get into squabbles, social media rants or diatribe with people. He stays out of the spotlight unless he has to. That's Seanpaul. So for you to come out and go into that man's family and say those kind of things, I think it was extremely disrespectful, rude, and it's cheeky. And, you know, instead of 119, apologize for that. he was confronted by Seanpaul, and Sean was saying, it was recorded. I think 109 was recording it, and Seanpaul confronted him, and was saying that you're a PO and this and that, and it's your mother and stuff for what you did or what you said about him and all of that and his children. And people have always said children are off limit and whatever. So I do believe that he was in great error. I think that if 119 came or returned back and was going to touch on the topic, I think he should have apologized to Seanpaul. I think he should have said that, I may think that, but it was wrong of me to bring it to the public. He did not do that. Instead, he went on and he was saying that persons were threatening him and always threatening him. He know which corner, which lane him come from, which place him do business, Orange Street, Tass Pen, Donkey Pen, Goat Pen, wherever it is that he does business. And people should come there. He's planning to go to TikTok. TikTok, Tickman, who is a notorious gangster or gunman. He's planning to go to the funeral, so they should come. And I think he's trolling at this time because he's known to be a good troller. So he was trolling at this time and stuff instead of coming out as a big man. But, as I say, this week have the foolish elders. And unfortunately, in Jamaica, age is not something that goes with wisdom. And so, even though you're expecting an adult who, way past his years and should come out and be the bigger person, apologize. Instead, he's saying these kind of things that's really childish, immature, and just leave a bad taste in people's mouth. You understand? And he's saying all these disrespectful things again about Seanpaul, that he's uptown light boy, uptown brown boy, he's not afraid of, and all these kind of things. Now, when I look into it, Seanpaul, who is very rich, very successful, has major connections, could easily have called someone to get him got and record it and upload it and son him like anybody else and upload it so that people can see what happens to you when you run your mouth. Seanpaul could have easily done that, but he came to you in person, man to man, and check you to let you know that what you did was wrong. Now, this reminds me of the Breakfast Club with DJ Envy, Charlemagne, and Angela Yee when they were on it, and they used to troll Birdman, calling him Birdman, rapper Birdman, that is, who managed Lil Wayne, whatever. They always troll him and calling him Birdman Sandusky. And Sandusky is a name for the guy. I think his name is Jeff Sandusky, or I don't remember his first name. And he's in prison he was this NFL coach or football coach. I think he's a college football coach, and he's in prison for molesting boys and stuff like that. So they used to give Birdman the moniker Birdman Sandusky, which is actually trolling him. And Birdman went in the studio with his entourage and checked them and saying that, there's so many things. I know where you guys are. I know where you hang out. I know people for you. I could have easily done things the other way. But he came in man to man and let them know that he needed them to stop playing with his name and put respect on his name. So Seanpaul did the exact thing. He came to 119 man to man and let him know that what you said, I have an issue with it. He didn't have to do that. 119 is not hard to find. Seanpaul have major connections in high and low places. It's not hard for him to pay money to get something done. Given the harsh climate that we have when it comes to crime and violence, he could have done that. It was a moment for him to capitalize on. 119 is known to interfere with so many persons. So it could be anybody, who got him. But at the end of the day, Seanpaul chose to be a man and step to him. And I think that was a moment for 119 to return and say, I said what I said, and it's immature. I shouldn't have said it. It's in error. Seanpaul, you're an unproblematic person. I shouldn't have said it. I apologize. And you leave it where it's at. But instead, you're going to puff your chest. You want to play an ego on camera, which you didn't do in person. You want to puff your chest and talk out of your neck, saying all these disrespectful things again about the artist. And this is what happens when people don't know themselves, when people are just low and deplorable in character all the way around. And it's unfortunate that something like this come out. I think, Seanpaul can take it to the next level if he wants to. But my reason for raising this is people need to know what they're saying to people in public, especially people who are public figures and are also unproblematic. They're not known to be in squabbles with people on the internet or outside. So I don't think it was necessary, and I think it's a little necessary that people should know what to say and be respectful. Even if you're going to give your opinion on stuff like that, be respectful at the end of the day towards each other. And I was one of them who was championing for a course on respect to be mandatory in school and also in every workplace. Just like how in order to get a work, you have to have a certificate in customer service or be customer service trained. There needs to be where every single person knows the a course on respect, does a course on respect, to understand how to communicate with each other and how to speak, how to settle differences amicably, or if settled differently, then you just go your separate way and avoid it. Emotional intelligence need to come into play. Moving on from that topic, I was looking at the Grammy, and I have an issue with the Grammy, right? I'm not going to speak on Vybz Kartel, not at all. I have an issue with the Grammy, especially the reggae category. I see it's a reggae category, and each time when Bob Marley or Bob Marley's children put out an album and they're nominated, they automatically won the Grammy section, and I have an issue with that. We know that Bob Marley is a legend. We know that he's the king of reggae. Bob Marley has passed on for more than 4 decades now. Yes, he has passed on. His music live on and it's doing well. His family champion it and keep the engine going, and that's great, and it helps to put Jamaica on the map. It helps to put Jamaica in a positive space when it comes to marketing, when it comes to products, when it comes to merchandise, when it comes to everything that celebrates around the atmosphere of reggae and stuff like that. But when I'm looking into the category, I think the category at this point needs to change to the Marley category. When the reggae category comes up, I think it needs to change to the Marley category, because if there's an automatic win for each Marley, no matter how great another album has done in the category, the Marley automatically win. I think that the category needs to change at this point to the Marley category. If not, they need to make more section wherein you can have best performing or best this or best that, where reggae artists are also nominated in that category without it being an actual feature on another genre with another international artist from a different genre. I think that should also be an option, either if it's going to be solely the Marley winning each time. We know who Bob Marley is, we are proud of it, but I think at this time we need to move on. We need to lay it to rest. We need to accept that he's the king of reggae. He's there, he has cemented himself. But constantly putting it there as a category and measuring it against other persons, and then it's an automatic win for him, I think at this point is unfair. And persons are speaking out against it. I remember when Chronix put out his album, and it was spectacular. It was a great album. Junior Gong put out his album was great also, we're not going to lie. But I was thinking that Chronix would have won it at the time, because Chronix' album did really well, and it resonates. And persons are going to say about Jamaica, they don't buy music, or reggae music isn't selling that well. It can't be about sales only, because there are so many artists who outsell each other when it comes to nominations, when it comes to the Grammy, and you find the one who sold less getting the Grammy over the one who sold more. So clearly it's not only about record sales, it's also about how people relate to the music, it's also about feature, it's also a lot of things come into play. So at this point, I'm thinking that either they're going to change the category from the reggae category and title it the Marley category, or they're going to have other segments of it where reggae artists can be nominated within the reggae spectrum. You understand? Or they just put Bob Marley as a legend and lay it to rest and let it remain sacrosanct. Just let it remain as is. But that's my 2 cents on it. It's a mere opinion, but a lot of persons, especially reggae artists, and persons who are involved in reggae have been having an issue with it, and they feel as if their work or their masterpiece that they put out is being underrated because it's being measured to a legend each time. Like if you're going to measure something to a legend that's passed on and he's seen as a hero, even though he's not necessarily one in Jamaica, but he's deemed a hero somewhat, and each time he's going to be measured. An album comes out, you do all this work, and it's constantly being measured to Bob Marley in order to be out there, and then you know that you're not going to win it. It makes no sense. That's a common sense approach. It makes no sense. So it's either you're going to label it a Bob Marley, leave him as a legend as it is, and create an avenue and call it the Marley category then, and have the children be nominated among themselves and give that award to one of the Marleys. Or you're going to have the Marley section as is, and then you will have another reggae category for other reggae artists. I think it is only fair and natural for it to be done that way. But that's my opinion. You can leave yours. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for your time. I'm SS, the advocate. Enjoy your day. Bye bye.